Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Tamiya 1/35th scale Willys, or Willys if you prefer, MBG build. And in this video, it's time to paint our driver here, and I'll put him a little closer. I did a little work. You can see it's missing some of the primer there. After I primed the figure in the light gray primer, I noticed the parting lines were pretty, they stuck up pretty bad. Little flash there where the parting line was for the mold. So I decided I would clean that up first, otherwise he would have had really sharp corners and around his knees, and his shins were really bad. And on the tops of the arms, everywhere you see a little bit of primer missing, I had to do a little cleanup there. But what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna get I got my little alligator clip ready. What I would like to do is we're gonna start by painting the face and the hands, because that's the lightest color, and I like to try to do the lighter colors before the darker colors. It's just easier for a darker color because the shirt is going to be a light brown color, the helmet's going to be the drab color, the pants are khaki, and the boots are brown. But these things that wrap around the boots, I don't know what they're called, but that's kind of a lighter, kind of in between light brown and the khaki. So we're gonna go ahead and start painting the face and hands. I already shook my paints up, but I just, for some reason, out of habit, grab a bottle and start shaking, which probably isn't a bad thing. Putting that up a little bit, we're just gonna get a little bit of paint down there, and I'm gonna take my smallest brush, we'll get the face and hands. I noticed on my Stuka figures and my P40 figure that it required a couple coats. I'm going to use the smallest brush because that's going to be I guess those two are about the same size. Let's start with the face. Try to get centered in my spot here. Give it a good coat. Actually, with this primer, I'd only need a couple coats. Can't remember what I did the Stuka pilots and I thought it was a gray primer. Maybe it wasn't. Got a little bubble on their chin there. There we go. Got a little thick there, and then some by the eyes. Okay. It's a decent coat for the face. Now let's get the underside of your hand here. I don't have enough paint. And I should be taking my glasses off so I can see up close. Kind of got my paints in line. I got the drab for the helmet. See that it's in the shot. I got this is actually a sand ivory is what it's called. I don't have a flesh tone. And Saki's on a budget, so he's kind of got to work with what he's got. And I'm sure most people can understand that. Let's get the hands real good here. We're going to have excess paint. But I'll go back after we get everything we want to get painted. And I'm going to give everything a second coat. I'm not even going to be afraid to get a little bit on the sleeve there. Majority of it's a big bubble anyway. These are model air paint, so that's why it might take a few coats to thin out for airbrushing. But they can be brush painted. It just sometimes you have to do multiple coats with it. There we go. Did a little better that time. Not as much of the bubble. Okay. Yeah, the face is already starting to dry. I should have probably used this color for the Stuka and I can't remember what I used for theirs. This seems a little bit darker, like more of a... Those were a lighter color. It might have been the same one. I'll have to compare, do a little comparison time against it and see how different they look. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And what I'm doing is putting the clip over where that boot, I don't know, it's kind of a laced up. I'm not in the military and not really familiar with uniforms and what that is actually called, but the boot, it goes, the pants end here below the knee, and then that's kind of like a shin guard almost. I'll have to look up to see what it's actually called, but that'll be a lighter color than the tan for the shirt and then the khaki. So I am going to clean the brush quick because I have a bad habit of forgetting to do that if I don't do it right away. And then we shall go to, I think we'll paint the boots next. Give that lighter color a chance to dry. Put that over there so it's a little more accessible. One time I went to grab the thinner, and I'm glad I didn't dip the brush in it, but I grabbed my decal set because I got the tester decal set before the ended up getting the micro sol and micro set. So I almost messed up there once. Yeah, that should dry fairly quickly actually. So we'll get the, I'm gonna do this mud brown for the boots. And then I got, it's called Millstone for them shin guards. Like so. I think I'll just use that same brush really. Because there isn't really much of the boot to paint. Yeah, I didn't get near enough paint on there though. It's hard to tell because you'll notice for the skin tone one I actually blotted quite a bit of paint down on there and had a bunch of extra. Then you try not to waste it. You end up not putting enough down sometimes. That should be plenty though. And I kind of gauge these colors off the box colors and what they said in the instruction manual. No, I'm probably not even in the camera, was I? Oh, maybe a little bit. And we'll get this one. Again, I zoomed in a little bit just to try to, but I don't have a monitor to see if I'm in the shot. I gotta stand up and look through my camera to make sure that I'm in there correctly. Got some light brown boots there. Actually, I think this was supposed to be the color of the belt, but it'll be a good base color. I think the boots are supposed to be a darker brown, I do believe. So for some reason I put my dark brown away for the boots, but that'll be a good base. This is actually supposed to be for his belt, right here. No harm done. Started painting it and I'm thinking, boy, that's a lot lighter than I remember it was supposed to be. Here I got my paint bottles all organized and I missed one. So that's that. And now, let's look at the hands again and the face. Before that dries up, I think I'm going to give the face another, might give the hands and face another coat quick. Then we'll move on to the pants and do the khaki on the pants. In this figure, and I think I decided on the Stuka Pilot and Gunner that they just look too darn. I dirtied up the floor of the cockpit and the side areas and everything like that. The Pilot and the Gunner, especially the belt, their seat harness looks way too clean. I look at pictures over the internet and even the picture from the box art, and it's supposed to be a lot darker, kind of a dirtier white belt. So I'm probably gonna give that whole thing a nice flat coat, and then I'll go ahead and do the panel line wash on it so that so the belt don't look so I'm gonna just quickly, yep, this is kind of a little bit darker. This color here is a lot better skin tone, flesh tone than the one that I used for the P40 and the Stuka Pilots. And it's covering better. Yeah, I like that a lot better, actually. So now we're gonna go to a bigger bottle. I'm actually gonna switch brushes because there's more area of his pants. And we will paint those next. About time to replace my thinner again. Only had to do, this is the second time is all. Yep, and I'll have to do the darker brown for the boots because that was meant for the belt. I'm sure of it now. But looking good so far, and I've never opened this one. This is an actual apple barrel khaki because it's specified khaki for the pants. And I thought I had a Vallejo khaki, but I don't. I haven't even opened this one yet. There we go. Now, I bet it's very similar to this. I kind of like these bottles too. They don't make as much of a mess when you dab them down. They're very similar though. Let's go with this one here. And then there's a light brown for the shirt. That cover's pretty good on that primer. I'd like to know what I did different compared to the other ones to where I had to give it multiple coats. Like even the Jeep's seat pads ended up being I got 3 coats on those, and those still need another coat. Know we're gonna have to knock some of that paint off later. Say that I actually did the whole one paint. And this one's much easier. Them 1/48 scale pilots are kind of hard to see if your eyesight's not the greatest. That, and then we'll have to get between the hand and the Let's say we succeeded. A little bit here. I'm not going to be afraid to get that shin guard thing either. Like so. All right. Awesome. Now I think we'll just make double sure that I got all the bottom side of the legs and everything. Gonna throw it on my little holder here quick while I clean my brush. And I think we'll move up to the helmet, because that's a little further away than from the wet paint area. And with that one, I think we can go down to a smaller brush. Did I use this one yet? Might as well use this one. And that will be olive drab, they said. Boy, I sure did make a mess out of these, don't I? We will not need very much of that. Try to see if that will be enough. Okay. And this will be the fun part. Might be the helmet that's going to need a few coats. Try to get it in a position where I'm not shaking so bad. I'm gonna do the hard part first, get it over with. The stressful part, and trying not to get paint where I just painted. That's not terrible for a first attempt. First coat, I should say. Didn't smear it all over the face, that's the main thing, right? Should probably give you a closer look, huh? Like I said, there's going to be some touch up and some... Probably have to give another coat to a few spots, but... There's that. And now, I think we'll try for the shirt. I might even, if that brown's, well, even if it's not dry and it scratches it off a little bit, I think just to get one coat on everything, knowing that the boots will have to be the darker brown, I'm going to switch the position of where I'm holding them there and go on one feet. So I can also paint the shin guard deals. Shin guard deals. I guess that's what we're going to call them this video until I figure out what the actual term is. So let's do that. Let's see if I can do this without. Can I accomplish that? I'd almost rather have it on the other foot. Kind of like that. I'd rather it be like that, I think. So we will put you back while I get the other color going. I put plenty of khaki down, didn't I? So we got light brown for the shirt, according to the instructions. And actually, I think other than not having a real flesh color and having to go with this sand ivory in the middle stone, I think all the other colors were correct to the sheet. They recommend, or actually recommend, since it's a Tamiya kit, they give you the Tamiya paint codes. I kind of went off their description. And I looked online at the pictures of military, U.S. military uniforms. You're going to need a little more than that because it's the shirt. There we go. I always want to wipe the tip of the bottle off. It's already a mess in there, but just to force it. When you shake it, it gets all over inside the cap. And we'll go back to this bigger brush because that, or do we? Yeah, that'll work. Go with this one, and let's start with the, like I said, the hardest part, which is going to be close to the head and hands. And the colors are really, really close. But it looks like that online, I noticed too. Like that. Not looking horrible. It'd be easier to try to get this part. Yeah, I wonder why it isn't just all khaki, because the light brown and that one thing though too, when colors dry, they sometimes shift tone as well, so I will say painting the figures is a lot funner than I thought it would be. I think because of the size of the figures, especially the 1/48, like I said, it's kind of one of those deals where you know the limits of your vision, and you take a look at it and you see that small part and you're like, I'm not going to be able to see to paint that kind of detail. I don't know how the people who paint the miniatures without the magnifying deals can do that. That's a skill, I think. And not to shake while you're trying to get, like I am, real close to the hand there. Oh, don't get the wrong color. I would need one of those big magnifying deals and probably small brushes the size of like wire to do something that small. I do a lot of toothpick painting. That's how I did it when I was a kid, on small parts, and still do it today. I never had small brushes like this. And I've always been, you kind of work with what you got. Although it would be nice to have all that stuff. Person's got to stay within their budget and be realistic too, though. Yeah, it's going to be a slightly different shade than the khaki for the pants. I think the belt's going to be a little harder to paint than I thought. I missed part of the collar here, didn't I? I got to be careful too so I don't open up my clamp. I look at it one direction and it looks good, and then I look at it another direction and it's like you missed a whole spot. Right here, really close. There we go. The very bottom is really close to the pants. Which way is the best way to turn you? Like this, maybe. There we go. Laid it on too thick and got a little bubble. Had to smoothen that out a little bit. Alright, we're going to need to get a little more dab of paint there for that. But it is coming along. Very happy with that. Someday I'll learn that every time I put that cap on, it's going to make a mess like that. looks like maybe a little bit on this color right here. There we go. That's a lot better. Seen a little bit of primer there. We'll just finish up the arm here and the back. Then we can paint us some shin guards, and then we'll pretty much have a painted figure. Minus the fact that I painted the boots the wrong color first time. Excellent. Just the middle of the back now. I'm going to pull it in the natural light so I can take a good look at it, because sometimes my nice bright light for over here sometimes I see things different in the natural room light, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, we'll clean this brush, and then I'm going to get a small brush out, and we will just do them shin guards real quick in that color so you can kind of see what that's going to be. And then I'll call that the figure video. Any touch up that I need to do, I can do off camera. And then we can move to putting the olive drab on the Jeep. And that was going to be Middlestone. And then once the shirt dries, I'll do that light brown is what the belt was going to be. And then the dark brown for the boots, I'll do that off camera. But we'll get this Middlestone on for the, what I call them, shin guard thingies. It's a bit darker. Just a tad lighter than the light brown that I painted the mud brown, I should say, that I painted the boots. That should have been the belt, so I'll put that back in that position. All right, small brush out again. Get us some Middlestone. And there we go. Nice quiet Saturday evening of painting the driver for the Jeep. Actually, don't think that that would have been a bad color for the boots though either, but I don't think it's going to be historically accurate. Turn you around and get the back side of that one, and then that'll be done. Might as well get the back side of this one since I'm here. And the front of it. I got a little piece right there of the pant leg that I missed that I'll have to go back with the khaki on. Then the helmet's gonna have to be given another coat, it looks like. But I'll put my brush down and I don't know if that shirt would be dry enough to do a... It might be. Nah, I'll let it dry, because I'll probably have to give it another coat anyway. Then I'll do the... Get the... Do the belt with the boots. So there we have it. I'll go ahead and give you guys a closer look before, see if I can get them to focus here. We got the, do better with the light. That's kind of how the driver would be sitting in the Jeep. That don't look so bad, especially with the belt and the darker boots. I think that's gonna look pretty awesome. So there we have it. Almost 45 minutes of painting a driver. I don't have a lot of experience painting the figures, so. But anyways, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Everybody who's subscribed and been following along. If you're just joining the channel, if you enjoyed it, please give a thumbs up. Subscribe if you would to follow along. I do model airplanes. I got a model ship going on right now, tanks, got this Jeep, all sorts of stuff. That's why I call my channel Saki Does Stuff, because I do stuff. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.